Welcome to the Media Box. Emanuelis Zingeris, reporter on human rights and whistleblowers. What is the main message or the main messages of this session for you?
Remarkable overbooked days related to the current situation in the world, in our area of 46 countries, our internal issues, like election of the new president, our good friend from APP group, Mr. Theodoros Rousopoulos, election of the judges from 3 countries, and election of our commissioner on human rights. Wow, that was exciting time, internal exciting discussions in the groups. And of course, question of reaction to not inviting parliamentary assembly to the elections, to the snap elections of the president office in Azerbaijan. It was very nervous and finally ended with some sanctions against Azeri delegation for 1 year. So in this case, going from item to item, I would like to say now behind us, you have during the session a very touchy question in front of your box is the fantastic and at the same time very painful exhibition about kidnapped, captive Ukrainian children who, by Russian brutal authorities, they are all brought to Russia, and they're still bringing them from occupied territories to re-educate them and to become consolidated with dictatorial Putin regime and under heavy brainwash. That's extremely genocidal act, changing their mentality and national identity. That is real colonial act of this Kremlin dictatorship. And for that reason, Putin was indicted by International Criminal Court like a war criminal for the reason that of those thousands and thousands of Ukrainian children and act of the war of aggression of Ukraine. So coming back to the real detective stories inside of our parliamentary session, I would like to say that, of course, the most heavy debate was who should be commissioner on human rights. Commissioner on human rights is in our parliamentary house. I'm here from '93, so I'm celebrating 31 years being here in this house. So means that a commissioner on human rights is a brand. Is a brand of Council of Europe at all. It's a brand between Committee of Ministers, Secretary General, and Parliamentary Assembly. Is a key figure who is indicated the hotspots of violations. So between very 3 honorable personalities, like Bulgarian one lady, Austrian gentleman, and Irish was chosen, Irish friend. He was extremely energetic, presenting openly that he will be fighting for human rights in every country, especially in the war zone imposed by dictatorial regimes against European countries, like Russia against Ukraine. And he will be presented, will be knocking on every door in Europe, on every jail in Europe, if you have their political prisoners. So, like General Rapporteur, I will meet him very soon to discuss with him our priorities, with our Irish friend. I hope that Michael will be every day in service of this great house of our 3 wings, Secretary General, Parliamentary Assembly, and Committee of Ministers. And I would like to congratulate you and invite you to Lithuania. Well, Lithuania means my country will be presiding and chairing this house for the next 6 months after Liechtenstein, Lithuania. And our priority will be not only finish the fantastic idea implemented by the decision of more like 40 government summits of the heads of the states in Reykjavik, register for damages. So register for damages done by Russia Federation against Ukraine is a huge new organization. They rented a house in The Hague. It will be a new unit. Thank you for all contributors, including European Union. So, first meeting with the director was extremely successful. Lisa Yasko, former chairman of Ukrainian delegation, the current member of Ukrainian delegation, is making a report how the sanctions are avoided. And of course, Mr. Putin is enjoying avoiding the sanctions, and all possible firms are competing among themselves, avoiding the sanctions against Russia. And in this case, we should figure out, seriously talking, how we will build the real mechanism and how we will publish the shame list about all firms who are competing between themselves, making money and profiting from the Ukrainian blood. So Russia's economy is more or less now currently booming. Even, I'm sorry, don't know from which reason Kazakhstan economy is booming too, and suspicions are that Kazakhstan is misusing the sanctions and the flow of goods, including military components. Military components to the Russian army is going through some countries in illicit way, not legal way. So it's a lot what to do, and especially in my Human Rights Committee, where I'm a rapporteur, we will have today extremely big question. Just Madam Tikhanovskaya, she's coming, I think. In 10 minutes she will be here. She's residing in my town, Vilnius. We just agreed that we are just passing and giving to Belarusian opposition, to their transitional committee of the transitional government, the room here to be representative in our parliamentary house, special room for such persons like Mr. Vechorka, Mr. Lebedka. So they will be presented today by Kimo report from Finland, and I am co-rapporteur on Belarus. So Belarus regime just today in the morning arrested wife of leader of Social Democratic Party, Statkevich. We will react as soon as possible to this KGB regime. Well, the KGB calls KGB. In Russia, they changed to FSB, and in Belarus is old KGB, with Felix Dzerzhinsky and Vladimir Lenin in every town, sculptures who were destroyed in Baltic states and Ukraine and Poland after liberation of Soviet Union, or from Soviet Union. And in this case, I think we still have network of surviving parties, Christian Democratic Party, Liberal Party, Social Democratic parties in Belarus, in opposite to Russia, with no party system destroyed, ruined by Mr. Putin. And Lukashenko now tried to put down all party system in Belarus, even arresting legally registered party members. It's totally Joseph Stalin type regime. And now they just allow Mr. Putin to bring nuclear weapons to our Lithuanian-Polish borders, and we are suffering their instrumentalized migration waves when they're bringing from Iraq and Syria thousands of immigrants to our borders, and Belarusian army putting those immigrants simply to our borders and that is not the same what we have in Mediterranean side. So more or less natural immigration with all those illegal handlers of, but still more or less natural migrants on the Mediterranean side, and those migrants used by KGB and by Russian FSB to destabilize situation in Finland, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, and Poland. So we are facing a fact that we are answering to European Union that is not pushed back from our army side, from Nordic side to immigrants. Well, that is artificially created waves. For that reason, I will be avoiding and circumvening the issue of illegal immigrants to push on the same level like immigrants from Mediterranean side to Lampedusa, and to other immigration centers in Italy, Greece, Spain, and France. And these huge waves created by artificial network of the agents of Moscow and Belarus in Iraq and Syria, inviting those poor guys to Nordic side and trying to use them like weapons against frontline countries. So in this case, will be different reaction, and we are not counting that like a violation of human rights from Nordic side, if we are talking about regimes using immigrations like a weapon to destabilize European Union. So that's, and Council of Europe member states. So in this case, we are going to prepare, and that was just adopted, new resolution, you know, and you probably heard that's unanimously adopted in the Committee on Legal Affairs on whistleblowers. The case of Galicia killed even in our democratic respected state like Malta cannot be repeated, killed by bribed elements in the government. Means I'm talking about Malta. We cannot be patient when we see that even Christo Grozev with his group under name Bellingcat was forced to emigrate to United States while his life was endangered by a network of FSB agents outside from Moscow, and we should make a real umbrella. So we are coming to the new resolution how to save whistleblowers. We have just in Paris recently, 2 weeks ago, a huge conference created by Human Rights Committee about how to protect whistleblowers, and committee decided by general voting to have resolution. So Lithuania is prepared to welcome Council of Europe, and your team is invited to be during our standing committee meeting on the end of May in Vilnius. We will be proposing one proposal from our side. The proposal is to make a register of all firms and entities who are avoiding and circumventing the sanction. Of course, the sanctions are from European Union and United States. Sanctions are not from Council of Europe created states, but we will try to create our common entity in The Hague next to the register for damages, who started extremely successfully, and the official opening will be in April of register of damages. We will start the idea of the shame list of all hundreds and thousands of firms who are benefiting from profit, and be sure the shame list will be established even from Lithuanian firms, Italian, British, American, even Ukrainian firms who are benefiting with business and profits with Russian regime during the war, and especially those who are making possible to create weapons in Russia. Those should be those firms in Europe who are supplying Russian army with weapons should be under not only restrictions but under implementation of our law conditions, and they should be banned to exist. We will try to take out the licenses of those firms who supplying Russia with elements for their weaponry. Be banks, the licenses I think will be withdrawn for the banks if they are supporting the military supply to Russia during the war of aggression.
Emanuelis Zingeris, thank you.
Thank you so much.